Hello and welcome. I'm Rashid Raza, your host for this, the final installment of You, Me and 3, where we celebrate BMW's latest edition of the world-famous 3 Series. The new, the 6th generation, and possibly the best yet. Who knows? During the course of the next half hour, while I drive to the golf club, where I'm going to play a game, we will have illustrious people like Sachin Tendulkar telling you his impression of the car. How can you doubt his words? Apart from that, we'll have parties galore as we celebrate the launch of this car in Delhi and in Mumbai. Lots more coming up while I head to the golf course. Join me. BMW, or Bayerisch Motor and Werke, to give it its proper name, has been in existence since the early part of the previous century, where they manufactured everything from bicycles to motorcycles, but probably the finest things that BMW are known for, and please, their motorcycles are very good as well, are their cars. In India, they've been in existence since 2006. Their factory opened up in Chennai and their first car rolled out in 2007. The latest avatar of the BMW 3 Series, their most popular and famous car ever, is this one, the F30. And when it launched in India and in Mumbai in 2012, 6 years after BMW entered India, what an amazing launch ceremony it was. I mean, these things tend to be glamorous and exciting anyway, but this one, well, I tell you what, we were there to cover it. Why don't you go and have a look and judge for yourself?
Mumbai saw the India debut of the brand new BMW 3 Series, the 6th generation of one of the most successful premium sedans in the world. The who's who of the city were present to get a glimpse of this ultimate machine. The red carpet area captured the awe of visitors as it was converted into a museum featuring the older generations of the BMW 3 Series. And for the onlookers, there were a few surprises waiting to unfold. BMW is known for their innovative launch events, and this one was no different. The highlight was clearly the grand entry of Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar, who revealed the much-awaited BMW 320D, along with BMW's India chairman, Dr. Andreas Shah. Meanwhile, in New Delhi, BMW went for the retro feel, giving the audience a taste of the 3 Series history. Models walked down the ramp dressed in attires that represented the eras when the different 3 Series generations were launched. Their clothes mimicked the style statements from the 70s to the Y2K generation. An evening full of conversation and BMW connoisseurs. Many were left in awe of the 320D and were longing to grab their hands on it.
BMW's image, its raison d'etre, if you will, has always been about youth, energy, and even a certain controlled aggression. Right from its design to its engine specs to its chassis setup, everything says, here's a car built for energy, youth, and even fun. But does it live up to the claim? That is the question. So we've set up a little test, if you will, just something to see if the name actually lives up to the claim. What I'm doing now is setting up cones, not to help the traffic police, but to create what is known as the elk test or the moose test. This encourages drivers to test whether or not your car can handle very sudden, very quick changes in directions. That was the moose test, or the elk test, whichever you prefer. Big animal, big antlers, very scary. Now, what does that prove? Well, basically it proves that this car is incredibly stable. The chassis, the way it's been set up, especially the suspension setup in the sport driving mode, is incredible. The road holding, the grip from those tires, and the tightness of the suspension never let me feel for a second that I was in any way short of control. Now, that's just my opinion, right? It was a lot of fun, etc., etc. Let's ask the guy who's actually responsible for putting this car on the road in the first place. Over to Dr. Schaaf from BMW.
I think the new BMW 3 Series is a brand new car. It's really brand new from scratch, and there are so many of innovations that has been incorporated that it is difficult to describe all of them. But if you look at the car, the first impression you get from the car, it has grown in size, it has become much more mature. We are introducing this car with two engine derivatives, the 320 diesel and the 328 iPetrol. And both of those engines are absolutely fabulous in terms of performance and fuel efficiency. Buyer in India, or the Indian consumer, I think is to a certain extent much more sophisticated. The 3 Series here in India is one of our key selling models. Since we introduced the car, we have sold over 8,000 cars in India. So every third car that we sell in India is a BMW 3 Series. So it makes it one of our top selling models here in India. It has a very, very big meaning for the company. It is a very important model for us.
I'm going to go get her. You take a break, but hurry back because at the other end of the break, we've got the master blaster himself, Sachin Tendulkar, waxing lyrical about this car. So hurry back and I'll get on with my job. Welcome back. I'm going to take this opportunity now to describe this car in front of you. The F30, this latest 3 Series, or 6th in its line from BMW, is truly a mean-looking machine. Right from the raked front nose, which is very reminiscent of the 6 Series, to the flat-bottom Corona headlights, which give that evil glint, which is so very important for a sports car. Come around the sides and the flanked, flared muscular arches give that squat, beefy look, which tells you that this car on the road actually means business. Right around the back, and immediately you can see a distinct difference in this particular avatar of the 3 Series. On the inside, it's a whole new story as well. The onboard screen computer, right down to the new lights, all far, far more upmarket than you would expect in a car of this size. The lights, the dials, everything just gives a feeling of sporty, refined luxury. And in this, the 320d Sportline, you have the black and red leather interiors. So not only do I now have a beautiful car, I also have a beautiful driving companion. This is Ishita. Ishita, say hello to the people.
Hello.
Now, what do you think? Should we go for a drive?
Of course, let's do it.
Of course. So as we continue on this journey, let's also examine the whole journey of evolution that this car has taken to get to the point of being this beautifully designed machine, because the process of design itself is a journey. Go and have a look at the piece we've got about the journey of design of this car, and then hurry back.
There's something very particular about BMWs. I think when you talk about BMW, you know there's going to be the kidneys and the double round headlights. It's part of our DNA, if you will.
I wanted to create a new face, a new BMW face, and this face is related to the heritage of BMW. So you find this face in the BMWs out of the 70s. You have this connection between kidney area and the double round headlamp.
We wanted to bring the kidneys in a more three-dimensional way, where you can really see the chrome, the frame around it. It's a very substantial piece. It's an iconic piece for BMW, and we wanted to treat it with as much respect as possible.
Double sticker line in this car, that's for the first time. You have one sticker running from the front into the rear door, and then the other, the main sticker, which is lower, and this creates a lot of shadow towards the end of the car.
Another new story to the 3 Series is that we have 3 different lines.
The 3 lines are adding 3 characters to the 3 Series for the first time. You have the modern line, you have the sports line, and you have the luxury line. For each line we had a picture in mind somehow, and every customer can find the car fitting the best to him. A sketch, that is a 2D thing. That's just see one perspective, and in my head I can turn the car. I see it already three-dimensional, and then we try to bring the sketch, the feeling of the sketch, the emotion of the sketch, into a 3D model. And we are also doing it on clay, and that is important, that we switch between clay and the computer to bring feeling in, love in. You just can do it with your hands. As a designer, you're never finished, and people have to pull you away from the project. If you're at BMW, I think the 3 Series is kind of the brand icon, and to design the car is a dream. And if you could realize your dream, it's the best thing you could do in life, I think.
So, what do you think of the car?
It's beautiful. I love the interiors.
It is very cool, it's very sexy. And it's just so incredibly planted on the road, because this car is actually longer and wider than the previous 3 Series.
Yeah, and I actually feel much more secure sitting here, which is saying a lot considering you're the one who's driving.
You know, it's funny you should mention feeling safe, because I was thinking we'd go and do something now which sort of tests the driving dynamics, the chassis, the handling, the grip, the safety.
Basically, you're going to go crazy with the car.
Basically, I'm going to go crazy with the car.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.